When I was 9 years old, my cousin introduced me to this amazing new website called LimeWire, where you could download all the free music you wanted to. I'd also just gotten my first MP3 player, so I was stacking it with all the classics like The Office theme song, Trouble by Never Shout Never, and Eye of the Tiger. It was an amazing time for music. One day I went on the site to download Billy Joel's Piano Man, and somehow ended up downloading Mr. Tambourine Man instead.
This is called Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man. Please play a song for me.
I remember being sorely disappointed when it came blasting through my headphones, and it was unlike anything I'd ever heard before, so I just kinda disregarded it and I would skip over it in my library. It wasn't until I was 17 that I did a full deep dive on Bob Dylan's music, and over those last 4 years I've definitely learned a lot. But I've also had a lot of conversations with people who think that he is one of the worst singers of all time. In 2008, Rolling Stone released their top 100 vocalists of all time, and they placed Bob Dylan at number 7. A lot of the people that I have those conversations with take issue with him even being included on that list. So I wanted to make this video to definitively say once and for all why Bob Dylan not only deserves his spot on that list, but he might even deserve a higher spot. Don't forget to subscribe. I think the Rolling Stone article sums it up well when it states that Bob Dylan did what very, very few singers ever do. He changed popular singing, and we have been living in a world shaped by Dylan's singing ever since. Almost no one sings like Elvis Presley anymore. Hundreds try to sing like Dylan. I think a lot of people truly underestimate how much Dylan actually did change the game. And yet, his music still stands out as so uniquely his, even though everyone was trying to emulate him during the 60s. I think the story goes, in 1965 the Beatles smoked weed for the first time in Bob Dylan's New York hotel room. And the very next year they released Rubber Soul, which, purely based off of Norwegian wood, signifies a shift toward Dylan's sound. And they've been quoted saying that they spun Free Willin' Bob Dylan over and over again when they first heard it.
Not an idol, but we just heard his record. As I said, we listened to his album and it really gave us a buzz, and we played it constantly over and over and over again. I think it was Freewheeling.
That was the first time for me that I'd really smoked marijuana. And I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. It was fabulous.
Also in 1966, Paul Simon releases this, which by his own accord is a blatant parody of It's Alright Ma.
I've been Norman Mallard, Maxwell Taylor.
And in 1965, you have Donovan basically spawning a whole career as the English Bob Dylan, releasing Catch the Wind, which is almost melodically note for note chimes of freedom. In spite of that, Dylan's music somehow manages to shine through on its own. And I think it all comes down to his voice. I think the biggest reason people assume Dylan is a bad singer is because they're stuck in the mentality I had whenever I'd first heard him. They know who Dylan is and have heard of him before, but they don't understand him because they've never fully stepped into the world of his music. And a lot of people can't pin him down, so they just disregard him. In today's world, rarely anyone listens to full albums anymore, and in a lot of ways I think Dylan's music is almost dependent on that. Each album is a different musical persona, where each song relies on the context of the other songs around it to build something bigger. Lots of people have seen the painting, but few have stepped back to see it in its entirety. And in the context of that entirety, Bob Dylan's voice not only serves as a tool to convey the story and message in the lyrics, but it also serves to convey that feeling, that perfectly crafted feeling that only Bob Dylan's voice can convey. I've spent the last 4 years covering his songs, and I still haven't figured out how he conveys so much feeling with so little. And I think that's always going to be a mystery to me.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy, and there is no place I'm going to.
Another reason I think a lot of people have a poor taste in their mouth for him is because they focus on his later work instead of the stuff where he actually shines. And as a fan, I don't think it's wrong to say that I'm not really that into anything past Desire, except for maybe Time Out of Mind and Rough and Rowdy Ways, and maybe Slow Train Coming if I'm feeling it. If John Lennon were still alive today, I'm sure he would have put out some major stinkers. But that still wouldn't mean that the stuff that he did that was actual gold is lessened in value or is somehow bad. With that being said, I think a good way to end this video is to show you some of my personal favorite Dylan songs where I think his voice really, really shines. And the first one is Dirge. I tried to learn this song during the pandemic, and it absolutely blew my mind because I thought that I was singing it well, and then I played Dylan's version and I realized that he's like a whole octave above me, and there's absolutely no way for me to get my voice to go up there. So the second one is Pretty Sorrow. That one is really, really good as well. That kind of shows the more tender side of his voice, and he goes into a little bit of a falsetto almost. And the final one is House of the Rising Sun from his first album. Now keep in mind, I think Bob Dylan was 20 years old whenever he recorded this song, and he sounds like a 60-year-old man, and the way he does those vocal flares is just so beautiful. I really can't even listen to the Animals version after hearing Bob Dylan's take, because it just kind of blew my mind open. I know I'm definitely biased, so I wanted to put the question out to you guys. Do you think Bob Dylan actually deserves his spot on that list, or am I just a major fanboy? Leave your answers in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for hopefully more videos like this soon. I also have some music out there, so check it out. And yeah, peace.